Welcome back to Tailgate Talk, Season 2, Episode 14, with your host, Aaron, the prognosticator, co-host Kermit, a.k.a. K-Dog, and the other co-host, Grant, a.k.a. Grampus. Also joining in with us this week, we have our buddies from Porch Talk. We have Cameron and Jamar, boys. Let's get it poppin'. All right, guys. Welcome to the show, boys. Good to have you guys with us, Cameron, Jamar. Been a long time trying to get this thing scheduled out, man. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's good to be here, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Couldn't pick a better setting.
Yeah, man. It's awesome food and everything, wasn't it?
Yep.
Well, we're just going to get on in and let some of our fans, I think the most of them know you guys now, but anyhow, we'll talk a little bit about you guys' podcast and before we get really into this thing and how y'all got started and everything. So, whichever one of you wants to.
I can start because I'm going to kick it to Jamar. I think he had the biggest part in getting this thing started anyway. But, for the ones that haven't listened to us, we mostly do all of our stuff, kind of like a Zoom call. It's mostly online. We interview players, coaches, former players. We go on through basketball season, and I'm assuming we'll go on after that talking about, whatever we feel like talking about, local or professional sports. Last year we kind of done what you all do now with the college football and stuff, and it seems like now we don't have a whole lot of time to put that in with all the high school stuff, but it's been a blast. I think, Aaron, you've been on with me, and y'all have had players on your podcast. I think that's the most rewarding thing about the whole ordeal. But, as far as like how it got started, I'm mostly going to kick this to Jamar because none of this would have happened if it wasn't for him. He can probably tell you more about the backstory on it, and I'll let him do that. But several times he'd come over, we'd be hanging out, and he'd be like, man, I'm going to order that stuff. And eventually he finally did, and now here we are. And the player interviews, all that, it's on him. It's his idea. So I'll go ahead and kick it to him.
For a long time, we'd sit around by a fire or hang out on the porch. It's kind of where the porch talk thing come from. We shuffled some names around, and that's what we landed on. But we'd just be sitting and arguing and debating, how guys and friends are. Just get into it, and we all listen to podcasts. So we were kind of joking, like we should do this and record it and put it out.
Oh, yeah.
And I never really thought we would, but we got more into it and talking about it. Cameron got on board with it, and I was like, we got to do this. And then Lloyd Combs used to write for the Mountaineer and cover all the sports around Buchanan County and a little outside there. He passed away. I noticed a big gap in covering student, high school players, and we kind of went from just winging it to that's where we really focused on the player interviews, and we wanted to give them an extra. Whatever you call it, some extra exposure or whatever. So that's how we got like deep into the player part. Yeah. And it kind of grew from there. We got coaches on and stuff, and it's kind of where we went. And Pigskin Picks, I used to love listening to it on 93.5 growing up, and from as long as I can remember. And then that kind of both of those things together kind of like inspired the whole idea, I guess, for us to go ahead and do it. And yeah, finally I pulled the trigger and I said, if I order it, Cameron will have to do it. And that's kind of how we got started.
That's awesome, man.
Now, I do want to add, we haven't got to do this yet, but here soon we're also going to do like some music. Last year we would do like weekly like country music type stuff where we would kind of talk about the new songs and all that. But we've been fortunate enough through friends from high school or just acquaintances that I said we probably have like 6, 7, 8 guests that are lined up to go on that. It's just right now with football, y'all know how it is. It's week to week. It's busy there, but we do have that coming ahead too. And I don't know how we're going to do it yet. If it's all going to be online, or we might do it like a setting kind of like this, and let some local artists kind of get their name out there.
Well, that's awesome. You guys got a lot on your plates and a lot scheduled ahead, man. And if you guys let them know how they can find you and everything.
Yeah, we're on Spotify. That's kind of I think that's kind of where we thought most of our followers would come from, but it's actually probably the least amount on Spotify. But we are on there. YouTube was kind of our big thing for a little bit, but now it's Facebook. I think we've kind of got more views on there. I think convenience is kind of like a big thing. If you're on Facebook just scrolling, it's a lot easier to just kind of scroll and happen upon the episode more than having to redirect yourself going to YouTube or Spotify. I think as society, I think we've got to where we like convenience. So that's kind of that's where we're at. And it's at Porch Talk. You can search it on, like I said, YouTube or Spotify, or find us on Facebook. And I do want to say before we go on anything else that we appreciate you guys and all the stuff that you do to help us share all of our stuff. And I think in a world where everybody's kind of not, how I put this, not very friendly sometimes, I think with us, we didn't even know each other, and we've all just kind of meshed together, sharing each other's stuff. Yeah. You helped us out. We try to help y'all out as much as we can. And I am very happy about that. So anybody that's watching this that watches us usually, make sure you don't just listen to this episode, but also follow these guys and follow their stuff on. I guess you're on everything too, right?
Yeah, we are. Like you, ours is kind of totally opposite. I mean, we get more Spotify, Apple and stuff like that than we do. Now, YouTube's kind of up and down. One week you won't hardly get nothing, then one week you'll have 800 views on it or whatever. It's just back and forth, and I really don't use Facebook for nothing but, just put it out. But. Yeah. And everything, but maybe I should start just putting that link back on there again. I know Kermit likes that, don't you, dog?
Yeah, man. I tell you, it's like you said earlier, it's more the merrier, and I think the more people you got into conversation, the better it is. And it's like y'all talking about sitting around on the back porch, getting into arguments with your buddies and stuff. To me, that's what it feels like. The more people you get involved in it, you'll get different views and stuff like that. And I just think the more the merrier, the better it is.
Ours has kind of turned less into the sitting around like we originally planned because of the player interviews and coaches interviews. We don't have the time. But every now and again, and especially after the season's over with, we'll have like these boys join the porch episodes where we have 4 or 5 of our buddies, and those get a little out there. We go all over the place, but I think the special guest interviews we do too a lot of times is kind of like conversation. Like we just sit around, say if we had you on as a guest, we just sit, talk about everything coming up through your young days to whatever, and you get really into some good conversations like that and learn a lot about people, and that's kind of what the original idea was. But like he said, it's hard during the season to get
book this one right here for that, and that'll multi-million views.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a great idea.
I'd say we'd be going to jail, Grant.
Well, we can get y'all on as a special guest episode interview. I'll love you at the same time. We'll go ahead and knock it all out.
Yep.
Taking Kermit back from the... All right, boys.
Taking him back when he was just a little pup to a full-grown dog.
Yeah, man. Well, boys, what do y'all say we get on over here into a little bit of college football now?
Let's talk about it.
I do have... we'll probably shorten this up a little bit, but Duke, Miami, you want...
53-31.
You want to speak on the U, baby?
It's all about the U. Me and you were talking on the way over here. It seems with Miami this year they just know how to finish, and that's a sign of a good football team. I didn't realize that Manny Diaz was at Duke, who was at Miami for years. They're 6-3 now, but they were 6-2 coming into this game, playing some pretty good ball. They had their quarterbacks, the Murphy kid that transferred from Texas.
Yep.
So they're not a bad team. It was close, but man, when it seems like third and fourth quarter, Miami just comes out, and that's why I'm picking them for that playoff run.
You're not getting off that wagon, are you, buddy?
No, it's sink or swim with the U.
J. Mark, you Cameron got anything on this one, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, Cameron Ward might end up. If Gabriel don't win the Heisman because of the team that Oregon has, Cameron Ward might win the Heisman. He had 400 yards, and their defense is playing good too. I mean, I know they gave up a lot of points, but they had 4 turnovers they created. And I think along with, the Ducks we'll talk about here soon, I think Miami's kind of, they're getting better as the season goes on, where a lot of teams this year, I don't think they found a lot of consistency. I mean, even, like I said, among Georgia and some of these top teams, week to week, you just don't know. But Miami and Oregon has both looked very good as the season's been on.
Anybody else got anything on that one?
I can't say anything good about it, so I won't say anything at all.
Hey, J-Mark, this is the thing where me and you are a lot alike. The only thing is I'm going to say it, okay? Because it's awesome. If you can say it, bro.
I mean, I'm a Tech fan, so I hate Miami with that's a kind of a rivalry. But what I was going to say was the games they've been in close, they've had some help getting out of them.
Yep.
And but they didn't need none this past week. That was they put it all together there, and they're the best team in the ACC right now for sure. I think when they put it all together and don't turn it over, they're the team to beat. I think coming out of the ACC, I'm not going to pull for them obviously, but yeah, I think they're the best team.
Well, you got there, dog.
It's beating on the table.
It's just the U, baby. It's just the U. That's all you can say. I'm ready to go roll on to the next one.
All right, then. Speaking of that, let's roll on to the Ohio State-Penn State game here.
Awful game. Awful game.
If you're a Penn State fan, you're wondering, how in the world are we ever going to beat Ohio State? Is there ever going to be a chance that we beat Ohio State?
If Penn State's offense would have showed up a little bit, they would have won this game. But even when Penn State did start moving the ball, there was some awful calls by the refs. They turned the catch over on them, and they turned another call over on them, and it was just one awful called ball game. And I think if Penn State had just a little bit of offense, they would have won this game.
Well, me and you talked about this on the way over. It's one of them hard to watch games.
Yeah, it was so boring.
To me, it said more about how bad both teams really are, overrated, than it did about how good or bad either one was. Both teams just – Ohio State can't run the ball consistently. They play okay defense. Penn State cannot stretch the field on anybody. And it showed, because if they could have thrown a 30-yard pass, they might have had something in this game. But other than that tight end, they got nobody who can catch the ball. To me, it said more about the two of your traditional Big Ten teams. Still, I used to always call it the Big Slow instead of the Big Ten, because they were always big, slow teams. Penn State and Ohio State look like two big, slow teams to me out there.
Yep. Guys, y'all got anything on it?
As far as Ohio State goes, the one team I will pull from Miami over is Ohio State, if that tells you anything about how I feel about the Buckeyes. But I agree with him. I don't see Penn State's offense being able to win any big games. And the 12 o'clock start, I don't know what the deal with that is or why they think that's a good idea, but the number 2 and 3 ranked or whatever they were, you can't have that game at 12 o'clock. Like that's crazy. They got to fix that. But other than that, it was a very underwhelming ball game, I thought, for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that they pulled out all the stops to try to get whatever good mojo they could. They changed the end zone font. I mean, they tried everything. If there was ever a year that Ohio State should have lost this game, it should have been this year. I think y'all kind of already touched on most of it, but I did hear from a podcast on the way over here that Penn State receivers only had 5 targets for like 50 yards. So most of the throws went to the running backs. They got great running backs, but you can't have that. And something I wanted to kind of pose as a question to you all, because I've been thinking about it. Kind of people that I would probably put on a hot seat, I think you'd have to have Franklin up there, no matter how good they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wrote this down. He's 1-10 against Ohio State, 1-13 when facing top 5 teams. He has lost 17 of the 21 games against top 10 teams, and 27 of 40 just against ranked teams. So I think I would put him on the hot seat. But I did want to mention, because I don't know that we cover any more of these games with these two coaches, but Lincoln Riley has a 4-5 record, only won 2 games in the last 7. And Mike Gundy, as much as I love Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State, he's lost 6 straight. And so while I'm on the Franklin hot seat topic, I thought I'd kind of throw out all three of those. I think those are some pretty big names that could be on the hot seat this year.
Absolutely, and go back to something J-Mar was saying. It's a 12 o'clock game. You're having a wide out. It would have probably been a whole lot better to play it at night with that wide out. Oh, yeah. It would have been cooler, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm lucky. I don't know if it's that Fox Big Noon thing, but touch on what Cameron was talking about there with the James Franklin. He actually got into a shouting match with a fan. Yep. Boy, that's a great look for even at a high school level. That's not you're the head coach. You got to pose yourself, especially against the fans. But I've said he deserves to be on the hot seat. And Lincoln Riley, which he's improved with his defense, they just got to get better up front. I feel like they'll give him probably another year. But Gundy, man, it'd be hard for Oklahoma State to fire Gundy.
I love Gundy. I just think,
but you're right though. I mean, if you go by these big time programs and stuff, then they should light a fire on him.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, talking about Penn State, now I think I listened to it today. Out of all the time that we've done the 4-team playoff, if it had been 12 teams, Penn State would have been in it the most of any other team. So he might get to keep his job because he can get to 9 or 10 wins. He just can't win the big one, but he'll make the playoffs every year. And so that might get him to keep his job. I'm sure that Penn State loves selling playoff tickets because they'll probably get a home game first round. Oh, yeah. But, you imagine,
though, like he's been at that, but now with the conference, now Oregon coming in and stuff, you start putting Oregon on his schedule, all of a sudden it's harder for him to get that 9 and 10 wins. Yeah. I feel like, because he's just not got it to beat the big guys.
And I also think, you're talking about that, I think Penn State's a lot like Virginia Tech used to be. They'd be satisfied with 9-win seasons, 10-win seasons, tickled to death with it. Being a smaller college like that and stuff.
Well. Let's move on down and let's take a look at the Vandy Auburn game a little bit.
What are they saying? Anchors down or whatever? Ain't that Vandy saying? Anchors away. No, it's the Navy. Anchors away.
Anchors away.
But Vandy ain't the Vandy we're all used to. That's all I can say. I'm gonna keep saying it.
They're who we thought they were. Pretty good ball club, yeah.
That's a big win for them, though. I mean, going into Auburn and getting it. I know Auburn's not being like top notch what Auburn usually is, but I mean
they're worse than Missouri. Come on now.
Well, they probably are, but I mean, still for Vandy
probably should have won a lot bigger than that.
Yeah. I mean, the QB, what's his name? Pavia or Pavia, something like that.
I call him Pablo Noriega. I know that's not his name, but that's what I call him.
That works. He's, I think, 3-0 against Hugh Freeze throughout his career. He actually beat him. I think he was at New Mexico or New Mexico State when Hugh Freeze was at Liberty. So he's got something there. But, Auburn, although they haven't been playing well this year, Hugh Freeze has done great on the recruiting trail since he's been there. So it's it's probably a scary thing for Auburn fans. But, yeah, Vandy is the Cinderella team, I think, that we all deserve to be in the playoffs to watch. And I don't think they're going to make it because of, losses at the beginning of the year and the way the rest of, especially the SEC, is going to play out. But if I could pick one team to put in the playoffs and give you that Cinderella feel.
Absolutely. That's what I mean. I guess me and Kermit will always talk about that. How fun it would be just to have them in there.
Yep.
It'd definitely be your best 3-loss team or whatever.
Anybody else got anything on that one?
Vandy's a sore subject for me. I don't want it.
I mean, me too. But I mean, at least what they're doing now is making it a little more respectable.
Yeah, but we
had that one. You're right.
Yeah, it would. I mean, losing the Ruck, we can go down the rabbit hole of why Tech sucks, but.
We can do that.
That started out.
I don't mind.
I had way too much.
Yeah, the guy over here with the V on his head.
Yeah. I told myself before the year started I wasn't gonna get my hopes up. I wasn't gonna do it. And then a few weeks before the season started, I did it. And then first week, shot down.
Boom.
Yep.
You're right there with all the rest of them.
And don't worry, we have the Virginia Tech Syracuse game coming up. You can wait it all out.
Well, that we had starters out. I don't care.
Oregon, Michigan.
Oregon's on cruise control right now, boys. They're cruising right towards the playoffs, and
Man, number 4 for them made some of the most spectacular catches in this game. One of them didn't count because it got called back for a penalty, but God dang, some beautiful catches.
The Ducks. Go Ducks. I mean, it ain't no surprise here. They went into the big house and they made Michigan cook and clean the big house for them.
That's right.
I will say, Tez Johnson, one of their big receivers, he's out. I think they fear it might be a broken collarbone, but the optimism from what I was listening to today is that he might be back in 6 weeks. So, I mean, it probably don't matter now because of the schedule they got coming up. Isn't anybody that great? They should win, but come playoff time, they're winning back.
Anybody else?
I mean, the only thing all those cold weather games, I thought that they might have a problem with. They're not having to deal with yet. So
Yeah.
I don't know who else they travel to later in this month and stuff, but I thought maybe that would be a problem for them. But they haven't had to deal with anything as of now.
I look for it to be more of a problem for USC.
Yeah.
Because Oregon's pretty nasty weather,
Yeah, that's
too.
true.
But I look for USC whenever they have to go to Columbus or Iowa or Michigan in November and into November and December. I look for them to have some issues.
Yeah, it's not like the weather in Eugene. It's like beautiful enough. So that's a good point. Yeah.
Ain't nobody moving to Oregon because of the weather.
No.
it's a bad time to go to Michigan, ain't it?
All
I've never
right.
seen a good time to go to Michigan.
Let's move on down to Louisville Clemson. Louisville stepped up their defense in this game. I mean, I expected their offense to be, score points and play with Clemson in this one, but their defense really surprised me in this one at how well they played. I mean, they came out and played some god dang defense, son, and I mean they was impressive. So what was it? They blocked 2 field goals. I mean, does Dabo not understand when you should start going for 2 in games?
He don't believe it.
Dabo seemed like to me, I watched him during that press conference, and it seemed like to me his first year he got the head coaching job, the way he talked during the press conference. But, not only did Clemson play awful, their fans was awful too, throwing all the trash out on the... I mean, get used to it, Clemson. You're not number 1 no more. Take you some losses to some little schools.
And until Dabo, it might as well be year 1 for Dabo until he accepts that the transfer portal and NIL is part of college football. Clemson fans, like Kermit said, get used to it because this is what your program is going to be. Unless he opens his eyes to, hey, we've got to be like everybody else if we want to be what we were 7-8 years ago.
Yeah, I feel like if he doesn't embrace it, and whether people agree or disagree with him, if they don't embrace it, they're liable to end up kind of like Tech was when they were winning the ACC every year, but they couldn't make it to a big game. I feel like that's what's going to happen. Is they're going to be really good, but not good enough to ever really be a threat to win one. Maybe once every 5 or 6 years, but that's not. I don't think it'll suffice some of those Clemson fans. They got a little spoiled now, I think. So
You're going to have a hard time getting big-time recruits to come there, too. I mean, you're going to come here. You're not going to get any money. You can't transfer. Or you can transfer, but we're not going to get any help in here. Meanwhile, the guy over here at the school, the school across town, it's a 4 or 5-star prospect, is going to Miami or even Tech or any of these other ACC schools, and he's getting a vehicle, a couple $100,000. I mean, we've all been 18 years old. Shoot, I'm gonna go where the money's at.
yeah. Oh, I'm all for it. I don't know why he won't just embrace it. I guess it's that. There's old school coaches out there that are doing it, so I don't know why he can't just get over it. But I guess he'll maybe die on that hill. I don't know, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, he's going to die on that hill.
He'll probably be, I'm a UVA fan. Tony Bennett just left. A lot to do with the NIL and all that stuff. Nick Saban left. Jay Wright in college basketball left. He'll probably be one that leaves because of that whole situation. And you look, I think it's the top quarterback in the 26 class, 25 class one is in a bidding war right now. Mm-hmm. They're offering like $4 to $5 million. So you can't. You're going to have to put up money at this point.
Carson Beck from Georgia drives a Lamborghini as part of his NIL deal.
Yeah,
and he just threw 4 picks against Florida.
Yeah.
So,
well, and about the Clemson game, I want to say I don't know. I was looking at the stats, and I watched part of it. But when you look at it, they ran 101 plays to Louisville's only like 50-some. They had more yards. Heck, Klubnik threw for almost 60 passes. Maffa ran almost 30 times. And when you look at that stuff on paper, and then you look at the score, it's kind of surprising. But, I do like Dabo. I don't agree with it. He's going to have to do things probably different. I do like Dabo. But I will say that I was one of these people that kind of jumped on the Clemson bandwagon. I thought they were back this year. But, really their only win they've had against a team with a winning record is NC State. So, I think that's something that maybe their true colors are kind of coming out now. But
that's almost the fact of that statement goes for just about every one of the ACC schools right now.
Yeah.
Well, Texas A&M. Come on, Kermit.
How about them Gamecocks, baby?
I think South Carolina punked the frauds of A&M, baby.
44-20.
South Carolina had 530 yards of offense.
Beamer ball, baby.
Sellers probably had 400 yards by himself. Man, I was flipping back and forth, but he was running the ball, throwing the ball. That kid's good. South Carolina, the future's bright. We said it for weeks now. It ain't gonna be long they get somebody, and this was the perfect setup because A&M's overrated. Coming into South Carolina, night game.
Now, is that not their second big win?
No, they beat who did they upset? Well,
they played close with was it
they
LSU?
about got LSU.
I think it was LSU they played close with, yeah.
Yeah, man.
I was thinking they beat somebody else that we thought should have probably beat South Carolina. Was it Illinois or Indiana? No, it wasn't Indiana, but Illinois or somebody.
Kentucky played them. They played.
Kentucky,
yeah. They killed them.
Yeah, that was probably they beat Kentucky bad, and they barely lost to Alabama.
That was the one, Kermit, Alabama.
Yeah.
That Alabama only won by 2, I think.
By 2. Now they did kill Oklahoma for what it's worth. I don't know if Oklahoma's worth mentioning.
I think that might have been it.
Yeah.
We talked like it would be a big win for them.
Thought the Undertaker was coming out.
Tennessee, Kentucky.
Well, Mark Stoops did Mark Stoops things and made the game ugly, and there was no flow to the entire first half. It was hard to watch. Tennessee, Nico's got more accurate with the deep ball, but one of the receivers is going to have to just actually hold on to it. But one thing about Tennessee, that defense is national champion level defense, and it seems like that whenever they've had to just line up and we're going to smack you in the mouth and run the ball down your throat and win this game, they're able to do it. We'll see in about 2 weeks, though. That's when we'll find out because they got to go on the road, down there between the hedges to Athens. Tennessee just keeps eking them out. That's all you can say. They're winning. It's not pretty, but they're winning.
You know me, I'm not no Tennessee Orange fan. I've heard that Rocky Top song too many times in the past. But I'm going to tell you, Tennessee's offense has slowed down when they've got into this SEC play. You can tell it's not as explosive as everybody thought it was going to be at the beginning of the season, but we know how much better the SEC defenses teams are, and it's harder to do that stuff in the SEC. But, man, it's the most impressive thing about this Tennessee team is how they adjust at halftime. They are probably one of the best right now at going in and adjusting at halftime and coming out and playing to their strengths and doing what they need to do to get a win, man.
All I got to say is I'm glad they got a really good defense.
I just want Kermit to sing Rocky Top one time.
We'll get him to.
I got a song I sing for you.
Hey, I will say, me and Jamar's not a big Tennessee fan. I don't know if he can elaborate on it too much on here. He might not want to, but we did get to go to the Grand Ole Opry and watch the person who I guess came up with Rocky Top, right?
I don't know if they wrote it or not, but they're the. They might be the ones that wrote it. Yeah,
He was there and he sung it. He couldn't hardly remember his family's name that was standing beside of him. But he performed Rocky Top there. It was kind of cool. But that's about the only thing I guess you'd probably say you like about Rocky Top. But
Bobby Osborne.
yeah, that's a. Well, I was just going to say, Tennessee's kind of a team. They remind me a lot of a certain high school team that one of y'all like. They don't really put a complete game together. And
Well, that could be me or Kermit.
well, that's probably true. But yeah, I mean, if they can put a complete game together, especially the offense, I think, going into the year, I think they probably figured they'd have a good offense because Nico and what Heupel does there as a coach. I think if you're a Tennessee fan, you're probably okay right now with the fact that your defense is playing great because your offense, you'd rather the offense catch up because I think they can. But yeah, I mean, SEC's a gauntlet, so they're going to have to weather the storm and try to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, he mentioned the Georgia game. Get through that one, and you're home free till the Vandy game, which could be a lot bigger now than what it probably originally was when the schedule come out. But yeah. Tennessee women's basketball is the only thing that I'll sing Rocky Top for. My wife loves them, and I'm on board now. I'm a fan. Other than that, I don't pull for anything that comes out of Knoxville. So, yeah, there's no good feelings for Tennessee. I don't. They're not my least favorite team, but yeah, you won't ever hear me pull for them for sure, unless they play Ohio State.
So there is that one scenario.
And maybe a couple other teams, depending on how I feel that day.
I've got one good song for Tennessee. It's an old song I used to listen to all the time, back in the day. It goes a little something like this, Tennessee trash, blocking up the highway, blocking up the byways. Ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash.
That's some good bass singing there, son.
Hey, just so you know, I got Tennessee plates on that truck out there.
I know you took the country right out of you. I heard and said you had to stop and wash the freaking thing off before you come here.
It's all right.
He said he said, I get in here, I won't get muddy just getting in this stupid truck, Grant.
The Eastman makes me and Grant sleep really good.
That's right.
All right, guys. How about we get on into this college pick'em for this week?
Boy, you ain't talking about Ted.
Nope, nothing to talk about.
You punk around. It's gonna dog you Tennessee at.
Miami, Georgia Tech. We'll just go around the corner, we'll go around the table. We'll start with you, Cameron.
Yeah, I'll probably go with Miami in this one. Could be a trap game, but Miami's been playing very well.
I hate to, but yeah, I'll go with Miami.
You know where I'm going. Do you?
I'll go with Grant to the U.
Yeah, I'm going to take Miami in this one, too. Mississippi State, Tennessee.
You the only 10 I see, baby.
Go Vols. This feels like a game where maybe the offense can get righted. I mean, We'll see though. But I still think either way, Tennessee wins this game.
Yeah, this is back-to-back games. I don't really like doing it, but I'll pick Tennessee.
Yeah, I saw a thing the other day that had Mississippi State recruits decommitting at halftime of a game. They had a picture of somebody doing that. So something's going on there. I'm going with Tennessee as well. I agree. I think their offense gets right this week.
I'm going with the Vols. Colorado, Texas Tech. Let's go, dog.
I'm going to go with Colorado in this. They're, third in the Big 12, and I believe they'll pull it out.
Texas Tech just pulled a big upset there of Iowa State. I agree with Kermit, though. I think Colorado's just – I think they're going to – I'm not saying they're going to make a playoff push or anything like that, but I feel like they're an 8-win team this year, and Travis Hunter seems to be healthy, and if he's on the field, I'll put my money on him, whatever team he's on, against most other teams.
Thug.
He might be a thug, but he's the best cornerback in the nation and the best wide receiver in the nation.
He is. He's spectacular.
He's a great kid. He likes fish. Laid back guy. You can't go against him. No, I'm not a Colorado fan, but I am a Deion fan, so I'm gonna take Colorado.
Yeah, I kind of echo that same thing. I like Deion. I'm not a big fan of the team. I don't think that they have the best culture there, but they have been winning. And going to Lubbock's going to be tough playing against Texas Tech. But there's been something about Colorado this year. They have been playing better. Defense has been playing better. And like K-Dog mentioned, they're, I think, near the top of the Big 12 right now. So they actually have a shot at making the playoffs. And if there's any way the NCAA can get them in the playoffs, that's money. So
It is money.
Yeah, I'll go with Colorado.
Yeah, I'm going with the Colorado myself. Virginia, Pittsburgh. We're going to start with you on this one, Cameron. Come on,
man.
give it to us.
You know,
I mean, Pittsburgh got smoked this weekend, so
and that could be a good thing for us. Maybe Pittsburgh's kind of down after that, or they can be motivated, wanting to get that bad taste out of their mouth. We have an awful schedule coming up. We got Notre Dame, and I think we got another hard game or two. Then we got that team in Blacksburg at the end. But, I'm not going to pull against us. I think Anthony Calandria, the quarterback, I heard a guy on ESPN, I think, gave a comparison to him and said he was a mix between Johnny Manziel and Rex Grossman. And that's that might be one of the scariest things I've ever heard. But when you have him, you have a chance. I'm not going to pick against us, so go Cavs.
Yeah, go Pittsburgh. That's all I need to say. I don't want to talk about Cameron's team like that, but this ain't basketball, and it wouldn't matter this year anyway.
It ain't gonna matter this year.
And you can't run the whatever that's called, the
pack line.
You can't run a pack line against football teams. So, give me the Panthers.
I'm gonna go Pitt just because overall they've been better this year, but I felt like Pitt was a little overrated because they haven't played anybody. Not that the Wahoos are anybody, but I just think they're coming off that loss. They're going to come out, regroup, refocused, and play a good ball game.
I think Cameron's going to hear the original version of Sweet Caroline this week. Virginia, they ain't got my favorite ball players there, Tinky and Rondé and Thomas and Heath. So, yeah, I'm going to take Pitt in this one.
God, guys, y'all make me feel sorry for Cameron here.
It's all right, man.
They better come up with another Sweet Caroline song, all I know.
Give me Pittsburgh, though. Clemson, Virginia Tech. Kermit?
Virginia played Clemson pretty daggone good, when they played Clemson earlier in the season. Which, going back to last week that we skipped that game, Virginia Tech, it seemed like they done everything in that game to win it and still ended up losing it, It pretty much looked like they dominated most of the game, but I'm going to take Virginia Tech to upset Clemson.
Game's in Blacksburg. I was sort of on the fence about Clemson if they were really, get it together to make a run for the ACC championship. And I think after last week, it kind of showed us Clemson's not there. I think going to Blacksburg and Tech will have everything to play for, nothing to lose. Give me the – I can't believe I'm saying this, but give me the Hokies.
I can't believe both of y'all picked it, and I'm a fan, and I'm not really real confident in it. But if Drones is out again and Tootin's out, they were both out last week, and we still had the game in hand and give it away. But if they're healthy, then I legit think we have a good chance of at least beating the game and beating them. If they're not, then probably not going to be in the ball game at all. But I'm gonna pick them either way. So go Hokies.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be pretty obvious where I'm going to go. But I will admit, Tech has played a lot better as the season's went on. I think that we have kind of dropped off as y'all have gotten better, especially on the defensive side, I think, or in moments anyway. But, yeah, if that running back's out, that could be a big factor because I think he could have been the X factor in this game after Louisville's running back ran all over Clemson's defense.
Is he out for the – did you see?
I don't know. I didn't know he was out.
I didn't even know they were out last week until I turned the game on.
Yeah, so, I mean – that could be a big factor, but now I'm going to go with Clemson. I just think, they're kind of in that zone where they just got beat, and it's desperation, but they have to win.
Well, now you got to think about it now. The games Tech ain't supposed to win. Them's the ones they pull off, and Rutgers and the game last week, and probably everybody thought Vandy at the beginning of the season. Them was the games that Tech should win, and that's what kills you is they lose the games they should win. And it's get crazy down in Blacksburg at night.
I was going to be there at the beginning of the year. I decided I was going to this game. It's the one I circled. But I also thought we'd probably be undefeated going into it. I have all the faith in the world that if like I said, if Drones and Tootin are healthy, that we have a very good chance. If they're not, though, I don't think we got enough firepower.
Well, here I was feeling sorry for Cameron being on his own with the Who's, but I swear to God, he loves being by himself. So, Hokies, Hokies, that's who I got. Michigan, Indiana. Come on, dog. Give us them Hoosiers, baby.
But as I hate to say it, Indiana, big.
Yeah, I agree with Kermit. Indiana seems to be headed straight for the playoff. I mean, Signetti, I love him. And go Hoosiers.
I will be in Indiana this weekend, not at the college game, but we're going to the Colts game. So I'm looking forward to watching this ball game up there somewhere with, not sure where yet. But I like Pat McAfee, big fan of the Colts, obviously. So give me Indiana. I don't know anything about. I've watched them a few times, not real in depth, not knowledgeable about them, but they seem to be playing as good as anybody right now. So give me the Hoosiers.
Yeah, like Grant said, I love the coach there as well. I think I want to see him in the playoffs. I'd like to see Indiana in there. That might be the closest thing we get to somewhat of a Cinderella, I guess. I think that Michigan has struggled this year moving the ball. I got Indiana, but I will say that coming up here in maybe a week or two, they got Ohio State, and that'll be a big game to see who maybe goes into the playoffs.
If you're going up to watch the Colts game, you might as well trade that ticket for a Hoosiers.
I know, man. Well, no, we were talking about that this week. Today, me and my wife were talking about whether we should wear all black or not because it's probably going to get pretty bad.
Just do this. It's okay.
Apparently it's fine. Yeah.
I'm tired, Coach.
I will do that walking up the steps probably. If I got a breath, I got to take a break. Give me one.
All right, Florida, Texas.
Texas, big.
Yeah, I think the injury bug at quarterback for Florida's. I know that walk-on played okay against Georgia coming in, but he's a walk-on for a reason. That ain't a knock on that kid, but it's just Florida looked different with Lagway. Not saying they look like a playoff team, but they look like a better football team. And him out and Mertz out and maybe playing with a walk-on and Texas. Yeah, hook 'em horns.
Yeah, on our episode at the beginning of the year, I think I took Texas to win the whole thing. Not looking as good right now as what it did earlier in the year, but I still think Texas gets this one.
Yeah, I think that Florida probably could have upset Georgia if they had a Lagway the whole game. I think their backup went 7-22 in that game. It was just different. I think that might have been a gift, though, because if Florida would have won that game and had that win, Napier might still be there next year. So I think Florida fans probably be pretty happy they may not have come away with that. I'm going Texas big.
Yeah, I got Texas too. Georgia Ole Miss.
It's a big one.
Give me the dogs, baby. Woo, woo.
Where's that game at? Is it in Georgia or?
I don't.
It don't matter where it's at.
Shoot. Ole Miss comes out and plays like they did Saturday.
God,
Did you not see that? 515 yards and 5 touchdowns.
I've never picked for Lane. After what he done to Tennessee.
Give me the Rebels then.
God, man.
He didn't do nothing in Tennessee. He just went somewhere where he thought it was better.
He didn't do nothing for Tennessee. I know that.
I'm a big Lane Kiffin fan just because he was smart enough to get out of the Rocky Top. So give me Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson Dart went crazy last week. Like you said, he had 500 yards passing. Man, Georgia, Carson Beck might be on his way to the bench. They just got a lot of youth behind him. He's had 10 interceptions in the last 5 games, I think, something crazy like that. Man, I'm going with Georgia. In big games they show up. That pass rush shows up. I do like Lane though.
It kills Kermit because I'm a Tennessee fan.
Yeah.
And I mean, Lane Kiffin, yeah, he left in the middle of the night. Whatever. They didn't fix the program until they got Fat Phil Fulmer away from it. So
I'm a Colts fan, so leaving in the middle of the night, I know I'm fine with that.
Well, Kermit, I'm not going to do you that way, huh, bud? There's no way I could. I got the Ole Miss Rebels, baby. Alabama, LSU.
Bama big.
I don't know about Bama big, but I feel like Bama wins this game pretty handily. LSU's
50-14.
What'd they put in your Pepsi?
It was Dr. Pepper.
Oh, well, cut him off, Ern. He's had enough.
He's got cocaine in it or something, I swear.
No, I think Bama wins this game. I think the score is a little bit closer than what the game actually is, just because it's a rivalry game.
Yeah, I think Bama's has to get turned around at some point. If they're going to make a playoff. This has almost a must win, I guess, probably for them. So I'm not real confident in this pick, but I think I'll take Bama in a close one.
Yeah, I think both teams haven't really shown a lot of consistency, so I don't feel great about either one. But a night game in Death Valley is probably the best atmosphere probably in college football. I think I'm going to go with LSU, but cause I don't think I'd feel good about either pick. I'm not real big on the culture there at Alabama either. And I love Cohen DeBoer, but there's something going on. You see stuff every week with the players just not listening to the coaches. They're out. Well, I think they're out partying or something night before. I don't know. All kinds of crazy stuff. So something's going on.
I got LSU in this one myself.
Yeah, you didn't. You jumped off that bandwagon, didn't you?
Tigers.
You don't think the LSU players are going to be out partying the night before the game?
If I went to LSU, I would party 3 days before the game.
I was going to say they're all partying. They're just not. The other ones ain't getting talked about.
Well, here's the thing: is LSU, they've been used to that for years. Nick Saban didn't allow that at Alabama. This
That's
is a
true.
new thing.
Now, when we went to school, Johnny Manziel didn't start that. We started that. We partied all weekend until game day, and then they woke us up.
Alabama's like the what's the Amish when they go on their what's it called, Rumspringer or whatever. That's what they're on right now. Their first year they've had any kind of fun, so they don't know how to handle it.
All right. Well, let's get into the high school recap this week. The first game that we had last week was Rycove and Burton.
Burton played a good first quarter, held Ryco to 8 points. Burton's starting quarterback wasn't in the game. He must have got hurt during the Castlewood game or something. I didn't know nothing about it, but their starting quarterback wasn't there. But after the first quarter, Ryco put up 32 points before half to add to that 8 points. I'm going to tell you what now, all great teams, they have, you know, you're going to have one of them games. And Chehaly was that game for Ryco. They was just coasting along, you know, after Eastside. And I think Chehaly walked up and smacked them in the mouth and woke up a beast. Here we go, Ryco War Eagles.
Not shocked by the outcome. I didn't know anything about the quarterback thing until Kermit was talking about it earlier. And, you know, that's a big thing to lose, but Burton's young, man. I keep saying it. Burton's young, Ryco's experienced, and it just showed, you know, it's no surprises.
Yeah, I guess we're supposed to be biased, you know, not be biased towards anybody on our podcast. Pull forward, but for some reason I'm a big Ryco fan. Even before they sent me the hat, I'm a big fan of them. So yeah, I think that game with Chehaly, I think they needed that almost as a wake up call kind of thing. It's like, you know, kind of cruising along, cruise control there. Maybe that was a wake up. Now they're, you know, reset and moving forward. So. But yeah, I think they're the best team in the region right now. But yeah, go War Eagle.
Yeah, I mean, Landon had another great game. I think he passed and rushed for close to 100 yards on both. A few touchdowns. Rollins had 3 touchdowns. You know, it's just unfortunate for Burton in that situation because you're right after that Chehaly game. And that was, I mean, that's just what Ryco needed. I mean, Ryco would have played it Sunday if they could, or Saturday right after the Chehaly game, just to get that bad taste out of their mouth. But, I mean, I don't think anything was a surprise there. I mean, Ryco, they've been playing great. I mean, I don't want to really talk negative about Burton, but they just have a lot of young pieces. So, but yeah, go Ryco, I guess.
Those War Eagles are flying strong, boys.
Only team in Scott County, according to somebody.
Yeah, according to somebody.
We're talking about football, not basketball. Twin Springs got that basketball there.
Twin Springs, Tommy Walker.
Not a surprise here. The injuries are just catching up with Twin Springs finally. You know, Tommy Walker sort of laid it on them a little bit, but that's football too.
Gotta love Tommy Walker, baby. They've actually played some pretty decent ball this year. I enjoyed watching some of their games, even their losses. You know, I know I've said it before, you know, but they played Lehigh pretty tough. You know, that was a game they shouldn't even probably been in, and they played some other teams pretty tough this year. And I tell you, it's going to be a knockdown drag out for them in Norton here.
I think Cameron's mentioned on our podcast once before about how many different quarterbacks Coach Warner started this year at Twin Springs.
It's been like 4 or 5.
Yeah, like so they don't
even
have.
had a offensive lineman playing quarterback at one game.
Yeah, so I mean they're just kind of, like I said, injuries have kind of threw their season off track, and so yeah, Thomas Walker obviously, like you said, been playing in some games that you probably wouldn't expect him to be. Both teams kind of under that level, the winning, not really high expectations, I think, this year. So, but yeah, Twin Springs for sure, though, the injury bug has been terrible on them.
Yeah, I think you have to admire the fight in them. I think me and Aaron talked about it on our episode last week. They've been fighting. They still got a good bunch of kids. The Weddle kid, I think he had 2 or 3 touchdowns the other night. But Thomas Walker, according to the paper, they clinched a playoff berth this win. And so that's pretty big for them. And their running back, I think it's Dylan McCurry, I think it's his name. He became the all-time leading rusher at Thomas Walker. So, they've got, regardless how they finish the season, it's been a success, I think. So, yeah, congrats to them.
Yeah, that was definitely, with that win, they're definitely in. Castlewood, Hurley.
Just to say it, I know between us three, I'm the only one that went for him Castlewood, baby. Woo!
Yeah, I was a little surprised by this one. Congratulations, Castlewood, getting their second win.
Second. Both of them was fighting for a second win.
Yeah. Yeah, well, congratulations to Castlewood. I picked Hurley to pull this game out, but congratulations to the Blue Devils.
Somebody's getting a little bit too big of a head.
Hey, I'm telling you, there's something in that Dr. Pepper.
What the heck?
I'm looking for little airplane bottles laying around here. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I believe there's something.
He's just high on life as well. That is.
There you go.
I mean, big win for Castlewood. For a while there, it probably looked like they might not get a win this year. Now, like I said, they got two. I was surprised by that. I thought Hurley would come out on top on this one. But, I mean, it's the way he played the games.
That's big for a lot of programs, too, that struggle when you're trying to change a culture and build a culture there. Getting one or two wins can really springboard you, it seems like. So, could be big things for Castlewood in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I played on an 0-10 team, and it's one or two wins would have made a world difference on how you felt about things.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, going into this year, Coach Chisholm did a great job of getting kids out. I know 2 wins might not be much to some, but you got to start somewhere. I mean, look at Eastside and Rye Cove a few years ago. So, yeah, I mean, congrats to Coach Chisholm on getting his second win. And Houchins, the quarterback over there, had a heck of a game. I don't know if y'all saw the highlight on Facebook, but he had a 99-yard run. And, man, he was flying. Yeah, but Hurley, that did surprise me. Yeah, I can't do 99 yards. But, yeah, I mean, Hurley did surprise me. I think we might end up having Hurley and some of those kids on this week, trying to give them a little bit of spotlight for the BDD clash with Twin Valley. But, yeah, that one kind of shocked me, I'm not going to lie. But congrats to Castlewood. And I'll give old P-Wade a shout-out, too, over at Castlewood. He's came on a podcast a few times. I'll give him a shout-out, too.
Shoot, yeah. East Side, Riverview, West Virginia.
I tell you, man, this Eastside team, they just seem like they just keep rolling and rolling and rolling and getting better. If you're right, better watch out. They coming again.
This was sort of like you were talking about with the Chilhowie Rye Cove game. I actually went to this one, and it was 0-0 at the first quarter. Riverview's not a bad football team. They're young in the backfield. I don't know. I can't remember their linemen. They were big up front, not very deep, and that was you could tell that pretty early on. Weren't very deep, and Eastside just physical, smash mouth football. Fourth shutout of the year for that defense. I don't care what level of ball you're playing, you pitch 4 shutouts, you know how to play a little defense. And it does seem like them and Rye Cove are right back on a collision course for each other. But I think there's some other teams in the region that'll be more than happy to upset that. But this was a good game for them because they actually had to come out and line up and play some football for four. The starters had to play 4 quarters. They didn't really. After halftime, you didn't feel like Riverview maybe was going to come back, but it was still 14-0. So one play, one thing here or there. It was a good win for them though. And now they go into Castlewood, and then me and Kermit be up there the first round of the playoffs in that best view in Southwest Virginia.
Woo!
Yeah, I fully expect Eastside to be one of the, at least one of the favorites to be one of the top, 4 left in 1A, and very well could win it. I wouldn't be surprised a bit. I'm like you. I think there are a couple other teams that could make some noise pretty in that first round, depending on matchups. But another big win for Eastside. They're about as consistent as you can get. So moving on, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that all plays out.
Yeah, like Grant mentioned, Rearview, that's the first time they've been shut out all year. Great game for Eastside. We had Dockery on, assistant coach for Eastside, a few weeks ago. We had several Eastside basketball players on last season. It kind of goes into that whole thing. You don't want to have a bias in the region, but, they're playing a team from West Virginia, so we were definitely pulling for Eastside in this one. And I think it's a good win for them. I mean, I think that, from what I've heard about Rearview, I mean, regardless of if West Virginia is down or whatever in that classification, they've been playing well over there. So I think it was a good win for them.
They had a lineman, I told you guys, I wish I could remember his name, number 75 for Riverview, West Virginia. And until he got tired, he was eating lunches on that line. And that Riverview, their backfield is quick, sideline to sideline. Man, them guys, they didn't quit. So I mean, it was, but that dude on that line, when he got tired, you could tell a big difference. Before he got tired, he was a problem. So it was a good game. Good game this time of year. I feel like not necessarily a playoff type of game, but you had to line up and play football.
Lord, yeah. Why Central Gate City?
Who cares?
That's what I'm talking about.
We can let you take this one. Just a solo.
Yeah.
Why Central could have kept their defense on the sideline for 2 or 3 possessions and Gate City still wouldn't have scored. They would have still jumped off sides and all these penalties that they was getting. Ridiculous. The play calling I thought was horrid. Don't know.
Tell us how you really feel, dog.
I hope they're listening.
Tell us how you really feel.
I hope they're listening.
I think you need some of your Dr. Pepper.
The run game was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they had Walker had 200 yards and probably would have had 500 if they hadn't got called back for penalties. Unreal. That's enough. Anybody else got anything on that? Because let's just move on.
I mean, I do think that. After listening to you, I don't know if I feel good about this statement, but I was going to say I think it seemed to be the most complete game they've had so far this year. But, I don't know. I listened to this podcast last week, or maybe the week before, and it seems to be that they get a lot of money and resources over there. So maybe it's finally starting to pay off a little bit.
Yeah, they got a real good booster club. They got a real good booster club. All right, Lehigh, John Battle. Lehigh's continuing their winning ways, boys. I think that locks them in too now.
34-8. 34-8, man.
No big surprise.
Lehigh took care of business, which I think, I know it's John Battle, but I think Lehigh's been getting better and better as the seasons went on, and they're playing some pretty good ball right now. They can get a chance getting these playoffs. I don't know if they'll get to the first round, but they're playing some pretty decent ball right now. You got to love that quarterback and them receivers, man.
Yeah, anytime you can throw the ball like Lehigh, you've got a chance to beat anybody. Mm-hmm. But they seem to be playing some pretty good ball. Nothing really shocking out of this, though.
Yeah, I mentioned Rycove earlier about being a big fan this year. I'm a big fan of Pendergraft too. I think after we interviewed him and stuff, and I don't want to say got to know him, but kind of met him and whatever. I think he's a great quarterback, obviously, but I think he's an even better kid. It seems like I'm a big fan of his, and it was a good win for them. And like you said, in the playoffs, I don't know that they'd match up with whoever they're going to have to play, but when you can sling it like that, you never know what'll happen. I mean, all it takes is one big game, so that's why they play him. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think talking about Pendergraft, him and his brother both had great games. His brother Carter, he had 4 catches and over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And then Pendergraft, he didn't have 400 yards this week, but he had, I think, around 360, 370.
Bench him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He ended the 400-yard streak. I think the previous 2 games he had 400 yards. But, we mentioned it on our podcast, I think, about 2 weeks ago. He's had a heck of a month, really.
Yeah.
got name dropped by a few celebrities. And
Yeah, that one whole weekend he had was.
Yeah, Brad Johnson.
Yeah.
Sent a video out, and then it was he was at the Tennessee game when they beat Bama, and was there. He also met Tim Tebow.
I met SEC's game day guys on the field with the players from Tennessee or before, however I got the pictures.
Yeah.
And like I said, the highlight of that week was probably being on with us.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
I can't
Lord
argue
have
with
mercy. You don't get no bigger than that, does it?
I mean, we got it started for him. That's probably why all that good stuff happened.
Yeah,
Tebow and them was listening to you guys. They're like, "Hey, we need to get this kid out here."
that's
what it was.
what I'm thinking. But now, I mean, all honestly, he is a great kid.
Yeah.
And we'll probably even have him back on for basketball season. So.
According to Coach Krieger at Twin Valley, I watched their episode on After the Whistle. Apparently, he's not the best quarterback in that family, though.
Yeah, his uncle.
All
wasn't it,
the
or
time,
something
yeah,
like that,
apparently, yeah. So that's saying a lot, I guess.
Yeah, his uncle was bad news, bulls.
Yeah.
Sure was. Grundy, how you say this at school's name?
Tulsa is how
Tulsa,
we say it. I don't.
Well, yeah, Grundy and the other team.
I think I spelled it wrong. Is all.
Yeah.
Grundy just keeps rolling. I don't know anything about that other school, but Grundy just keeps rolling. Like we said, that's another one of those teams that you don't want to see come playoff time.
Man, you got to love this Grundy team, man. The way they've been playing and stuff. Like you said, they probably played one of the toughest schedules this year for a Division I school. Or they just seem like every week they get better and better and keep fighting. And man, I wish, I really wish they'd pulled off that win against Tazewell, but that's the only game I think they dropped that they should have won, really.
They had it.
Yeah, I mean, they'd be right now, they'd be sitting at, 6-3 if they'd won that game. And with that tough of a schedule, that'd been pretty impressive.
After an 0-3 start, I mean, that'd be huge. I mean, what they're doing now is still big from that start.
Absolutely. It's the one team I don't think you really want to deal with in the playoffs.
No, if I was one of those, I don't know where they'll finish in the points. I don't think they'll get to host one probably, but I wouldn't want to be one of those top four, seeing them coming in. They just that backfield with Taylor and Lester. It's one of the best backfields in Southwest Virginia, and they present so many problems matchup wise with them too that they're very tough to deal with. I can see them. They could be one of those teams, like you said, that in that semifinals in the region very easy. I wouldn't be surprised a bit if they got there and was very competitive. But that's a good win for them. I don't think that Tulsa team. I don't think they're a great team, but I think that was probably a pretty good win for Grundy going up there. That's a really long trip up in West Virginia. So, like I said, I don't think it knocked off no top ranked team or nothing. But I think they're a pretty solid team from what I understand. So that was a good win.
Yeah, I think they were maybe 6-2 or something like that. But when you go to West Virginia, there's other things that are sometimes in play. Hurley went there last week, and during the After the Whistle podcast that you was referring to earlier, I think the same episode, they were talking about. I think they had like 9 straight penalties at one point over in West Virginia. So I mean, which we'll talk about flags here in a little bit, because there's another game that's real bad when it comes to penalties, but. Yeah, Grundy's playing great right now. I think they're playing their best ball right now. And I'll give Jamar credit. Before the season really even started, or maybe it was week 1 or 2 when they were losing, he said they were probably one of the better teams in Southwest Virginia, definitely the best team in BDD. And I give him credit for that.
Well,
and
when they were at 0-3, I said they're by far the best 0-3 team in the region for sure.
And I do want to give a shout-out while I'm on here to my cousin, Carson Deal. He had 15 tackles in that game the other day, and Keegan Bartley said after the game that, in his opinion, he was the best defensive player in the last decade at Grundy, and which has a lot of players there. And it's a debate for another time. But even being mentioned in that is a big, it's a big accomplishment. And you mentioned Taylor, Logan Lester, Flash Gordon. They got back there. They run that Maryland I, which you don't see a whole lot, and. They're at the point right now they're very comfortable in what they're doing.
shoot you out and being comfortable, mate. That means a lot. Marion, Richlands. Richlands gets their second win, boys.
Woo! I tell you, I'm one man. I just tell you how I see it, you know. And if I dog you out, I dog you out. So what, you know? But you know, I admit it when I'm wrong, and I admit, you know, and I'll give people credit when they're doing good, man. And I mean, this may be a big turnaround for them. You know, they got 2 straight wins here. I was pretty sure I picked them this week over Marion. I don't think they're going to get the 3rd straight win. You know, it's a shame they're looking at Graham for the last game of the season, but you know, this could be big for this program, man. You ain't won a game in probably 20-some games. You know, it's big. They've got 2 wins right here. You know, if I was the coach, you know, which I ain't, but knowing you got Graham next, I just try to play all the kids I could play, get them some playing time for next year, get them, you know, wanting to come back for next year and want to have a better season for next year. I think this is a good game to get as many kids as you can in and let them have fun. Go Richlands, baby.
Yeah, I agree with Kermit there on that. That big win, get your second win. Like we sort of touched on a little bit before in the pod, earlier in the episode here, they, you know, you look at Rye Cove a few years ago, they were folding up, come back, get a few wins. Eastside there 2 years ago, you know, they go into the last game of the year 0-9, get a win. Then the next year they come out and they're 6-4 and take Rye Cove to the limit in the playoffs. And now we see what they're doing this year. So that could be these couple wins could be big for Richlands. And congratulations to the Tornadoes.
Yeah, any momentum like that going, you know, towards the end of the year is good for next year. I don't say I think it'll all come to a screeching halt this week, but that's no shame in that either, losing to Graham. So, I mean, it's not like it's, you know, anything that they can hang their head over. But, yeah, it's a very good win for them. I was surprised at how, because it got pretty bad, didn't it? I think the score.
Yeah, I think they won maybe 2 touchdowns.
28-16.
Okay, last week.
Oh, right.
Galax was the one that I was thinking of, I think. So, that one surprised me how bad it was, but then this week kind of probably, I guess, how it probably should have been. But, yeah, congratulations to them.
Well, I think the Galax game may be a sign of things to come for Galax, because I don't think they even played a game this last week.
No, they did.
They forfeited that game against Fort Chiswell. So I don't know what's going on over there, but I think it seems to be, from the outside looking in, just a program that's not used to going through this kind of adversity. And you know, I don't know. I don't want to speak on it too much because it could be a lot of other stuff going on. But as far as Richlands goes, a winning streak, that's crazy to say right now for them. And I think that's a good sign. Andrew, the quarterback, played great again. I think the running back, Lawson, I think's his name, he played good. We had on Aaron. We had that episode this past week. We actually had on 2 Richlands players, so I hadn't really addressed this yet on Facebook or on any of our socials. But we had an audio file with one of them that kind of went kind of crazy, and I wasn't able to upload their interview. So I told them we're going to try to get them on this week. It actually works out good that they happen to win again, because I was kind of worried if they happen to lose right after that Galax win. But great kids. The Andrew kid's great, and Aaron can talk on it more too. But Colin, he was great. I like seeing Richlands good. I think Richlands is a program that when they're better, Southwest Virginia football is, it's better all around. So, yeah, congrats to them.
Yep, big win. Virginia High, John Marshall. I'll tell you right now, and this right here explains it all. Virginia High was 2 of 3 on third downs. They had 3 third down plays.
Yeah, you were talking about it. Like I told you, Virginia High probably went there like when we all used to play backyard football, and you had 4 downs to score. That's what Virginia High said. We'll just take 4 downs to score right here. We don't need no sticks or nothing. But I'm telling you, I'm on the Coach Patterson bandwagon and the Bearcats, baby. They just rolling.
I had some Union fans act like they got a little upset with me down there the other day when I said Virginia High hadn't played nobody. I said, well, they played Ridgeview. They've played Graham. They've played some pretty good ball clubs and played them pretty good too. And I said, but as far as I'm concerned, man for man, you line them up on the field, I guarantee you Virginia High, and we've said it all year, is the most talented team out there as far as man per man on the field. They actually downsized their line a little bit, and I think it's helped them. They're faster off the ball. They're pushing people around. You watch them, and they block how you should block in high school football, man. They're 15, 20 yards down the field driving people. They're driving paws 15, 20 yards down the field. And, and to say that, like you said, that was an incredible stat, 3 third downs the whole game. That's crazy. And Elijah Burke was in a 3rd and 28. They handed the ball off to him, and the kid run for 30 yards, just shrugging people off of him. 30 yards for a first down on 3rd and 28. I mean, that just tells you their guys block. And if this team plays together, I think they could win state. I mean, it may sound crazy, but I really think if this team comes together like they've played the last 2 weeks, that they're liable to go win state.
Yeah, I think they're one of those teams. They're getting hot at the right time of the year, and coming into the playoffs, they're going to be a very dangerous team. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see them at least in the finals, maybe even win the region. I wouldn't be a bit surprised by that. Apparently, at John Marshall, they need to put they put about as much money in their NIL as some of these in their basketball program as some of these college teams. Apparently, they need to spread it to the football team a little bit because it didn't sound like they're bringing the same kind of athletes to football games as they do to basketball games, but. Big win for Virginia High. I don't know who we'll talk about them later. I'm not sure who they got next week, but they're a team. They're definitely a team that's getting hot at the right time.
Yeah, I think Virginia High is the hottest team in maybe Southwest Virginia right now. I think Coach Patterson, I think me and Aaron talked about it a little bit last week, but if you was to throw a few names in the hat for Coach of the Year, him and Coach Akers from Holston. I mean, of course, you'd have Gary in there as well for Cove, but just for the job that Patterson's done from, I was a critic on Air Podcast. I said they were kind of disappointing to start the season out. And now, I mean, I'm like you, K-Dog, I can see them going to state. I think the right matchup, I do think that they match up better with Graham than Union. But, when you look, I don't know, going forward, I don't know how Glenvar and Allegheny out that way, they're looking really good. So I don't know how they'd match up with them, but you look at Burks that you mentioned. I think we're going to have him on in a few weeks. I talked to him already, and Keyshawn Smith. Keyshawn Smith has been playing amazing. I mean, every week he has like 2-3 touchdowns. It seems like
you can't tackle that kid in the phone booth.
No, he is a matchup nightmare, and I don't. I mean, we'll talk about the playoffs here in a little bit, like you said, but they're super hot right now. I wouldn't want to play them.
I think the biggest thing about them is everybody's paying so much attention to Keyshawn and that Burks kid and all that. And when this Graham kid wants to run the ball, man, he's gone. That quarterback is gone when he does decide to run it. And nobody's covering them because nobody's looking for them. They're trying to guard the other 2 or 3 kids there.
He's spinning pretty good, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he ripped one down there against Lebanon, didn't he?
Stay right there, dog. Let's go. Let's talk about this Union Abingdon.
Oh my God, we don't even want to go there this week, dog.
Talk to me about that. I didn't watch it. I need to know.
I'll tell you, man. I don't even know why I do it. I don't know why I get disappointed year in, year out. When it's the same thing every year, just get so aggravated, man. You think team's got some life, some hope to them, and then they just turn around and lay a big fart, man, in the big game, big game situations, can't handle it. They should have won state last year. I I don't see no reason why that team couldn't win state last year. It was probably one of the most talented teams Union had ever had, in my opinion. And, you know, first of the year, I hear the big thing, you know, talking about WCYB, you know, how we got the best defense we've ever had. How do you lose 7 starters on defense? How do you lose 7 seniors, 5 of them red shirts, and Paul Huff, which is probably one of your best athletes on the whole team, and say you've got just as good as a defense as you did last year, when if you look at right now, Union's defenses give up 107 points. Last year at this point in time, they'd only give up 82 points, and then had 2 playoff games where they only give up 6 points to Virginia High, a very talented team, and 6 points to Tazewell, a very explosive team. And you sitting here and year in and year out, you go and face a big-time running team, and they run right down your throat, and you don't know how to stop it. I think if I was Travis Turner, I'd go ahead and fire my defensive coordinator and my whole staff.
Pause for an amen every now and then. Come on, brother, that's preaching.
I believe I'd fire myself, you know.
Come on.
But, I mean...
That's good preaching. You just need to pause for an amen every now and then.
It's pretty daggone simple, man. I mean, you know, you come up against a running team, put some more guys down on the line. You can't stop a 110-pound back from running up the middle. I mean, where's Keith Chandler at? He's an outside linebacker, man. Come on.
We having a
Bible. It's just like I said about Honaker, you know. Why did you take that kid out from the quarterback position when he's the best athlete on your whole team? He makes your whole team better. And here you got Keith Chandler out there running with 120-pound wide receivers when he needs to be in there inside stopping up the daggone holes and stopping them runs against a 110-pound running back, you know. I just sick and fed up with it, man. You got a defensive coordinator that looks like he ain't even never played football. He's 4'1" and weighs 100 pounds. I mean, where did you get him from? Was you playing the PlayStation one night at a party, and he just whooped everybody's ass at the party on the PlayStation game? And he said, boy, hey, that'd be a good defensive coordinator. He come from Hayside. We don't even know what a football looks like up there. I mean, come on, man. You got too many people around here. Hey, Lord. I've ran enough. Here you go, Brian.
Let me cool you off a little bit there.
Another Dr. Pepper.
I think you had enough Dr. Peppers. Yeah, well, I don't know what to say after that.
Y'all come back tomorrow night. Services at 6:30.
We will take up a love offer.
Yeah.
Hire a defensive coordinator for Union. No, I mean, I get what Kermit's saying. I've watched Union enough through the years, and me and him's talked about it for 4 or 5 years now. It seems like if you want to beat Union, you just run the ball right between the guards, and that's what Abingdon did. And I don't think it's as I don't know. There's something going on. They've had some talent and stuff, but maybe this is a eye-opening loss for them right here. We'll see going forward. I mean, how do you follow that?
I'll concede my time over to the man with Dr. Pepper if he wants to keep going. But, yeah, the whole. I mean, they're taking a page out of the Miami Dolphins. You got Mike McDaniel. He looks about what you described there, kind of the same look he has going on. But I'll stay away from all the X and O stuff. I've not watched him play enough, but I think he said enough. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to you.
Yeah, I'm not going to really talk as much about Union. I think we already had enough of that. I'm going to talk on the Abingdon side a little bit. Owen Barr had a great game. I think that's already been mentioned a little bit, but I did want to shout him out because we had him and Luke on a few weeks ago, and I think that was probably one of our.
That was a very good show.
It might be just my opinion, but I think it was one of our best interviews we've had. It was just fun. It was natural. You can tell that they've probably been in front of the camera before. They definitely seemed like it. Both very talented kids. So, I mean, big win for Abingdon. They're having a great year. I think that I do think Union is a good team. I think that matchup-wise, it depends on who they play in the playoffs to see how far they go. But I don't really want to comment any more than what's already been said.
I mean, until I heard that, I was probably going to Virginia High Union or Graham would be one of my 3 picks to win the region. But now I'm not so sure.
I mean, bottom line, Union got wore out at the line of scrimmage all night long. You know, Aberdeen gave them a touchdown. Right, I really can't say Aberdeen gave them a touchdown because I mean you can't take that away from Carlos, that interception. But Aberdeen should have downed the ball. The type of team they are, the running team, want to run the clock out. They should have just run the clock out before halftime. I knew they was going to get in some kind of trouble sitting there trying to pull off a score with a minute something left, and that's like just run the clock off and go into halftime. That's the team you are, you know. And so Aberdeen kind of spotted them extra point before halftime, but after halftime it was just all Aberdeen. They beat them up on the line of scrimmage the whole game, especially second half. Controlled the whole half of the ball game. Union didn't do nothing in the second half, and I'm not taking away from the kid from Aberdeen. He hits the hole hard. I mean, but he's got a hole there to hit. You know what I mean? You got to have a hole to hit sometimes, you know. And Aberdeen definitely opens him up a hole to hit, and he hits it hard. But Homeacre should still be a quarterback.
Yeah, man. Well, let's get on into this final week here picks. What y'all say? And up first, we gonna have.
Yeah, we'll just skip the records because I had a horrible week last week. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Eastside.
Yeah, I missed 4 games last week.
Eastside Castlewood. Go for it, dog.
Eastside Castlewood, who you got?
Eastside big, go green.
You know, we all know where I'm going with this. Go Sparty.
Yeah, I'll go with Eastside on this one.
Yeah, Castlewood's improving. You know, there's a lot of positives going forward, but I have Eastside.
Yeah, here comes some more of those Spartans. Give them 1 win, and they want 7 or 8 more. Eastside 35, Castlewood 14.
Like that about 13 or 14 this year, if we can get it.
Tommy Walker Burton.
Man, there's a lot of you don't know in this game right here. It's just going to be a game down at Burton. Both of them's a lot better than what they was last year. Don't know if Burton's starting quarterback's going to be playing or not. Hard pick right here. I believe I'm going to go with Thomas Walker, but I don't think it'd shock me at all if Burton pulls this out.
Yeah, I think this is one of those games like we've talked about a little bit. For Burton going, you know, for to springboard them in the next year could be big if they pull this upset. Just hope they ain't already playing basketball down there at Burton. You know, they're still got 1 more week of football in them. But just going off the way the season's been going, I'm gonna pick Thomas Walker in a lot closer than what a lot of people might see. And like Kermit said, I wouldn't be shocked if I don't look up Friday night and see that Burton's won this one.
Yeah, I'll go with Tom Walker on this.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you guys. It could be somewhat of a trap game with Thomas Walker looking ahead. But I will give a shout out to Thomas Walker. I didn't earlier. They were up, I think, 40-something, I don't know what, up big in second quarter. They could have easily made that game a lot worse, like Twin Springs did last year. But I have Thomas Walker winning this one.
The Raiders isn't going to be happy with the results of this. Tommy Walker is doing some positive things. Give me Tommy Walker big in this one right here. Why Central Grundy, dog?
Man, I think it's also going to be a great game. Could be a good game. If Wise shows up, you know how people have a hard time playing on that field up there. Something about that turf field up there. It seems like it speeds Wise up and slows everybody else down or something. I mean, when teams go in there and expect to win by 40, they barely come out there with a 20-point win sometimes. But, God, it's Grundy team, man. They're playing awful good. I think I'm going to go with Grundy on this one.
Well, we all know how I feel about the team up there at Walmart.
The Walmart Warriors.
Yeah.
The good guys, Grant.
Ain't nothing good about them people.
Come on, Grant.
But, gosh, I should pick them because them winning helps Eastside with points, maybe get back into that 2 seed. But I ain't going to because I don't like them that much, so go Grundy.
Yeah, a really good girls basketball team at Central. Other than that, I'm not really familiar with anything other sports they got, but down here for football, I'm gonna go with Grundy.
Yeah, when you mentioned Walmart, I thought you was talking about Grundy. I mean, we got a very unique Walmart out there. But
No, I don't know if you know where Central's at. Walmart,
yeah.
Central's located in the city of Norton, behind the Walmart.
oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't been over to Central yet.
I've been there.
Yeah, so he knew.
I've never heard them called the Walmart Warriors before. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The bands used to play his theme song up there, and they'd go, Walmart Warriors, Walmart Warriors.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think that, like I said before, I think Grundy's playing the best they've played all year right now. I see them going and winning that game pretty big. Biggest issue going into this game, or biggest concern, is just keeping everybody healthy before the playoffs.
Way it's setting up right now, looking in that single A playoff thing. I mean, you were talking about it. Looking like that first round matchup might be the Grundy Golden Wave coming to Coburn to play the Eastside Sports. Well, that'd be a head knocking first round right there.
Probably one you don't want to see, really, if you're either one of them teams.
No, both teams getting out of that one uninjured because there's going to be some hitting going on in that game for sure if it happens.
Well, anything to make the Golden Wave happy. The Wave's solid fundamentals will prove dividends in the long run. Grundy 35, Central 21. John Battle Union, dog.
Let's go up there and let's play some. I hope I fire them Union people up, man, because, I mean, them kids ought to have some fire to them, man. They'll play better than that. It's to be up one week and down the next and all that stuff. But if it fires them up, let's go up there and play daddy ball at John Battle, and let's see if we can pull a win off. I'm going to go Union.
I'm going with the Bears.
Oh, boy. That was a good one. Can John Battle run between the guards?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to take Union then, I guess.
Yeah, John Battle has a young team, and they've had injuries and stuff all year. They've had small moments where they have had some positives, but yeah, Union's going to win this one big.
After this game, the Trojans will not want to see, or they will want to see, less of the Bears and Keith Chandler. Union 60, John Battle 7. Lehigh, Abingdon.
Give me Abingdon in this one. Lehigh's playing good football right now, but Abingdon's playing a lot better, I think. They're just a better football team all the way around. So give me the Falcons.
I've been up on Abingdon all year long about their defense and stuff, and they've really impressed me at the beginning of the season, how they played some of them big games right there. And, the only reason I kind of went against Abingdon against Union is because we went and watched them against Ridgeview the week before, and it was just so soft of a game. It just kind of disappointed me. That's probably the only reason I even went with Union that game. But, yeah, Abingdon big.
Abington's D-line and the running game will probably be a little too much. But I feel like, hopefully Lehigh can not lose too much momentum going in to the playoffs. If, stay healthy, or I'm not sure where they're sitting at the playoff point. Where are they at right now?
I don't know. I think
They were like 6, weren't they? Lehigh?
Lehigh, yeah.
So hopefully they stay healthy in this one. I think Abington's too much.
They've sealed their deal. They're in no matter what.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think Abingdon had a good test of this a few weeks ago against Ridgeview as far as the passing offense. It's going to be the same situation. They're going to try to keep the ball out of Pendergraft's hands. I think if the more opportunities he gets, I think he will eventually find some open receivers and have success. But I think Abingdon's going to win this one and just, like I said, keep it away from away from Lee's offense.
Well, Lehigh should consider restraint when passing. Throw the ball to your own players, Generals. Abington 35, Lehigh 34. Honeacre rule retreat.
What was that score that Royal Retreat and Holston game last week?
27.
Yep.
Daggone.
2-point win for Holston. Yeah.
Roll retreat, Mr. Phil Gomes,
Big time. I believe I'll go Royal Retreat in this one.
That's not a bad pick. This is one of them flip a quarter games. It feels like Honeacre won pretty big, but I think I'm gonna go with Kermit. I'm gonna go with Royal Retreat. This one, I won't be surprised if Honeacre wins. I won't be surprised if Royal Retreat wins. But just for the sake of picking, I'm gonna pick Royal Retreat.
I think Honeacre's figured something out on offense finally. Maybe it's just, I'm not sure if they figured something out or just coming up against who they're playing just matchup wise. But if I think they get Avery the ball enough times, let him make things happen, and some other guys make a few plays, I think Honeacre pulls this one out on the road.
Yeah, I think that Honeacre has a chance to really finish this year out strong. A different route than what we kind of thought going into maybe a week 3 or 4. But their defense is playing better. I think that's the key. Coach Lowe has been doing really good with the blitz schemes and stuff there. But, like Coach Akers mentioned last week during an interview with him, Royal Retreat's a lot better than their record shows. The losses they have had have been very good losses. I have Royal Retreat winning this one in a close one.
Well, the prognosticator felt like his whole staff would probably be with him and rooting for the Tigers. But there is only one choice in this matter. Rival forecasters will probably see it differently, but that isn't going to happen. Rural Retreat 40, Honeacre 35. Hosting Chilhowie.
It's another one of those. Holston's played good all year. Chilhowie seems to be playing a little better football right now too. For the pick'em thing, for the standings, I should pick Holston. But for what I need to happen in playoffs, I'm picking Chilhowie.
We went and watched Holston. We know they've got some track speed guys that, when we went up to Hurley, you could just tell it's two different types of speeds out there on that field. And this Holston team, they seem like they're getting it together and improving every week. And, big win, which everybody's talking about it over Johnson Central over there. And I'm going Holston in this one.
That win's not so big now. Johnson County, I think they win there.
Take it away from them, Grant.
I ain't taking away from them. I'm just saying it's just not as big now.
I'm going to go with Holston in this one. Probably a close one. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I think before last week I would have maybe said that Chilhowie could maybe upset them. I like what Coach Sturgill does over there. That quarterback, Asher Chapman, he's a very steady, just safe quarterback. I mean, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, got a lot of talent. Holston impressed me last week because, Luke had mentioned on the podcast that he was a little bit worried they were getting big-headed after that Johnson County win. So the fact that he was humble enough to mention that, and then not only that, but for them to have their heads right to go and beat Rural Retreat, which is a really good team, that makes me a really big believer in Holston this year, maybe more so than the Johnson County win. So, yeah, I have Holston winning this one in a close game, though.
Well, the Cavs will put their speed on display in this one. Holston 35, Chilhowie 13. Patrick Henry, Northwood, Dog, Kurt, or Grant, either
I'll
one.
go right here. It's pretty easy. Patrick Henry seems to be getting healthy and getting things right here at the right time. And Northwood's struggle. They haven't played bad, but they just numbers game and everything else. They struggle, and I feel like Patrick Henry wins this game pretty handily.
Patrick Henry's almost back. Now I'm taking Patrick Henry big.
Yeah, a healthy Patrick Henry is not a team that one of those top 4 teams want to play in the region. They're a completely different team when they got everybody healthy. So I'm going to go with them in this game, probably pretty big.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Stewart came back last week. I think he had like 3 touchdowns running the ball, and which I don't know if we're going to get to the playoff talk here in a second or not. But Patrick Henry is a team that I would not want to see in the first round either. And with them having everybody back healthy, they could easily make a run. I mean, it depends on who they play and the matchups and stuff. But I have them big in this one.
Patrick Henry can get a little sneaky around the goal line. Patrick Henry 42, Northwood 14. Virginia High Marion.
Virginia High's had 2 weeks. They've had everything clicking. They're getting primed up for these playoffs. Virginia High big.
Yeah, I think Virginia High is rolling right now. Virginia High wins this one easy.
Yeah, Virginia High probably by about as many as they want it to be. This is one of them. Hope just everybody stay healthy games. Get the game over first half. Get the starters out and move on.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. So Virginia High big.
Well, the wheels are turning in the Barricade Nation for a heartwarming victory. Virginia High 45, Marion 10. Lebanon Tazewell.
Whichever team runs the ball 17 times wins this one. And I feel like Lebanon might have figured that out when I go back and watch that film against Virginia High. They give the ball to 44 there a little bit more consistently. Not taking anything away from the Reese kid. He can flat spin it. But I think that just even the threat of a running game opens up so much more for him, and I look for Lebanon to pull this one out running into the first round here.
I think it's one of them games that can trip you up right here if you're Lebanon. I think Tazewell could easily pull this one off. I just right now I think Lebanon's the more solid team, and I'm gonna go with Lebanon in this one.
Yeah, it does feel like kind of a trap game for Lebanon that you're having the past 2 weekends and or past 2 games being pretty good teams. Hopefully they're not looking ahead because Tazewell's kind of dropped off from what we thought they would be. This game earlier in the year, I thought this game would be like a shootout, like high scoring. I think Lebanon, I don't want to say easily, but I think Lebanon takes care of business.
Yeah, I think if you want to watch 2 great quarterbacks play, Creasy for Tazewell and Reeves for Lebanon, and there's a lot of great receivers on both sides of the ball too, with Baker and you have McDonald for Tazewell. I think it's gonna be a very close game. I think it's gonna be a lot of throwing, like I said, but man, I'm gonna go with Lebanon. I kind of agree with what you guys have said. They're a better all-around team, and if Jesse does run the ball some for Lebanon, that could make the difference, I think.
Coach Norris has a pigskin pedigree that demands offensive perfection, and it's all there for Lebanon's squad. So, boys, just do it. Graham Richlands.
G, man.
Graham big.
Yeah, I got the G-Men big time.
Yeah, I think the only battle that Graham has really had this year seems to be the referees. So, and that might be another discussion for a later time. But yeah, Graham in this one.
Well, boys, the tornadoes are going to blow up quite a storm in Bluefield. Then the game will start. Graham 35, Richlands 14. Hurley, Twin Valley.
Well, I'd pick Twin Valley, just see him get a win, but I think Hurley's just got their number, and I think Hurley pulls the win out in a close game. I think it's going to be close, but I think Hurley pulls it out.
Is Hurley going to get their second win? I believe they will.
They may already have more than that, don't they? I don't know.
No, just one, I think. Them and Twin Valley both have just one, I believe.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Hurley going to get that second win they couldn't get against Castlewood, so they're going to get it this week.
Yeah, I would love for Twin Valley to come out and be able to get this win. I think Hurley has just a little too many athletes to match up with them. But I'm picking Twin Valley either way, just because home obviously graduated there, and Coach Krieger's close friends, so they'll have to play a perfect game and maybe force some turnovers, and but yeah, hopefully they'll pull this one out.
Yeah, this game's pretty close to mine and Jamar's heart, I think. Used to be a pretty big game, especially in basketball. But Hurley's got some great players with I think the Justice kid and Duty. I like the Coach Deal over there. Depending on circumstances, which might prevent me from going too far away Friday night, I might end up going over to that game just because it's close. But I'm going to go with Twin Valley as well. I think it'll be a close game. I mean, really, I would have said Hurley for sure last week before Castlewood. Hurley would have for sure beat us. But I think that game, I don't know, that game kind of puzzled me a little bit. So I'm going Twin Valley.
And I hope this isn't the case. But the way numbers are at both those schools, you never know. There's a outside chance this could be the last time these two teams play each other.
Yeah. If
one of them is able to have a team next year, so it might be a good one to try to get to. But hopefully, that ain't the case. Hopefully, they have they feel both of them have teams next year. But that's just a kind of side note that's kind of sad, and for us anyway, being from over that direction.
Boys, I had no clue, but I got 35 early. Twin Valley 14. Twin Springs, Rocco. Everybody's forgot about the Scott County Bowl, boys.
Everybody forgot about it because Rocco done won it, didn't they?
Grant, be nice.
Okay, everybody forgot about it because Rocco already won it, right? Rocco ain't slipping up right now, so Rocco as bad as they want it to be.
It ain't on here. Where's it at?
That's what I'm saying.
He didn't put it.
He didn't put. No, it ain't on here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, because y'all
See,
forgot about it.
You done forgot about it.
No.
You done forgot about it because you done know it's done
It's
been played.
on mine. I put it down there because I just want somebody to say, hey, my
got-
point is proven.
Right here, man, I'm telling you, if you're a Scott County fan, you gotta love it, man. You've got a one of the greatest Scott County basketball schools going against one of the greatest Scott County football schools right here. And I'm telling you what, it's gonna be a heck of a ball game, but ain't nobody slowing them War Eagles down, baby. Woo!
If I'd have had video on this, I'd have worn my hat. Shout out again to the Rocco people who sent that my way. I think they keep rolling this week. Hopefully, stay healthy moving into the playoffs. I think even if they do look ahead after this one, I don't think Twin Springs has with the injuries. I don't think they're going to present much of a problem, even if Rocco plays bad. But they need to come out and keep rolling to keep that momentum going. So I'm going to go War Eagle big.
Is it frowned upon in high school if you rest the starters like you do in the NFL? I mean, I'm not nothing against Twin Springs at all. But I mean, honestly,
stats-wise, for the voting in the player in the district, all region, might not be a good idea. But
yeah, but if you're trying to play for state,
I understand what you're saying.
I'm just saying you can't lose a kid like Landon in a game like this. I would really consider maybe playing a quarter or something. That's nothing against Twin Springs. I mean, it's just not the Twin Springs team of week one. So yeah, I would definitely consider maybe some rest this week. But yeah, Rocco would win.
I mean, you're not getting fined if that's what you're asking. They're not going to.
Yeah, I said they're frowned upon. Yeah.
Well, the Eagles' double wing is flying high and strong. Rocco 48, Twin Springs 8, Gate City Ridgeview.
All right, you ready for this?
Let's have it, baby.
I told you on the way over here I had fixed Gate City. And this is what's going to happen. Friday night, Gate City's going to roll out. Is this game at Gate City?
Yep.
They're going to roll out all blue helmets with that cursive Devils wrote on the side of it, because that's the only time they ever played football
In Scott County.
in Scott County. So if they want to get back to Gate City, they better go dig Jake Housewright and the rest of them up. That's what they're going to have to do, is bring back some of that old blood if they want a chance to beat the Wolfpack.
Gonna be one of them senior games, ain't it?
Yeah, but now if they come out with them whatever it's supposed to be, them lightning bolts or pitchfork, whatever it's supposed to be on the side of their helmet, Then it's going to be Ridgeview Wolfpack 42, Gate City Blue Devils 12.
Oh, he caught off a score, dog. Ooh, that hurt. Well, you know, I think Ridgeview's had them a tough game or two. I think they're ready for physicality, which we know Gate City's defense. They always show up and hit you, no matter what they play like on offense. But I'm gonna go Ridgeview in this one.
Yeah, I'm a Carolina basketball fan, so anytime I get a chance to pull against the Blue Devils, I'm gonna take it. And this will be the week to do it. I'm gonna go Wolfpack over Gate City.
Yeah, Aaron, you're not going to be by yourself, buddy. I don't know if you're picking your Blue Devils or not, but I'm going to go with Gate City pulling an upset. I like what Walker's done the last few weeks. He's been consistently, running the ball well. Hamilton, even though that was a low-scoring game, ran the ball pretty well. So I'm going to go with Gate City winning this one.
Well, I can tell you right now, Gate City's primary concern will not be that Ridgeview team. They better look out for the, well, it looks like the prognosticator is having a little trouble with his spelling today. Ridgeview 35, Gate City 21. Well, Porch Talk guys, man, we're so glad to have y'all come on and be on here with us this week. And thank you again. We really enjoyed having you on.
Yeah, thank you guys. We really appreciate it. And like I said, we'll keep sharing everything that y'all put out. It's all gold, man. Especially when you let K-Dog on it over here as the star of the show.
I don't think I've laughed that hard doing a podcast in a while. That was...
After tonight, I'm going to bring a 12-pack of Dr. Pepper every Sunday when we record these.
Yeah, for sure. Need to have set aside a segment just for him, a ranting segment for him. Get that off his chest.
Yeah,
every week.
Well, I've been planning on doing a K-Dog segment.
Yeah, the Dr. Pepper K-Dog.
It might have been
sermon.
It might have been something that waitress gave me in that chicken nugget back there when she offered that nugget to me. Who knows?
You ate that chicken nugget? Oh, Lord. Yeah, also, we'd like to thank Bonanza for allowing us to have this room to ourselves to where we can do this. And thanks to Cameron and J-Mar for making that possible as well. They're pulling some strings for that and everything. So we do appreciate Bonanza for taking the time to let us do that.
Yeah, and if anybody's ever comes by Lebanon, whether you're going to wherever, Richlands, or going the other way towards Abaddon, you really do need to stop in at this Bonanza over here. It's something special, and it seems like it's always great food every time we stop here and eat. So if you're ever around Lebanon, make sure you make a special trip to the Bonanza.
And let them know you heard it from Tailgate Talk and the Porch Talk guys there on the Podcasters. Well, boys, has anybody got anything else on your hearts?
Forgive me, Union.
If all hearts and minds clear, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.